asked to solve this equation, and right now it probably looks kind of scary, gross, but it's not really. What you should notice about this, kind of your key, how do I know, is notice this is a squared. It's a quadratic. So that means this is going to be a factoring problem. You're like, it's got fractions. That's not right. We can get rid of the fractions. Remember, you're not stuck with the fractions. I'm going to take the least common denominator, so in this case 30, and I'm going to times the whole thing by 30, and I'm going to rid myself of those fractions. So when I multiply by this 30, I get y squared here. Here, 15 goes into 30 twice, so I get 2y. And here I get 15, okay? So now I am going to solve this. So this is my equation. It looks much better now, right? But it's not in standard form, so I have to set it equal to 0. So I'm going to actually move both of these over here. Now you might be asking, why did I choose to move these two versus just this one? Because it is always better to have a leading coefficient that is positive, okay? So that's the reason I chose to go that way. So just a heads up that it's just always better. Otherwise, you have to divide by or pull out the negative, and that's just extra work, and I don't want to mess with that. So I chose to go that way, okay? Now, I'm going to factor, so I set it equal, right? Now I need to factor. So my first step was to get it into standard form. My second step is to factor. So I need something that, so my first is for 15 or 1 and 15 or 3 and 5, not a lot. I need the one that subtracts to 2, which is 5 and 3. The 5 is going to be negative to match that sign right there. Okay. Now I'm going to set both using my zero factor property equal to 0. And then I'm going to solve each one. So then my two solutions are 5 and negative 3. I can, of course, go back and check, and I could even, if I wanted to, go all the way back up here and check in my original equation. So my original equation was y squared divided by 30 equals y divided by 15, I think. I don't remember. Plus 1/2. So let's just pick one of these to do. So I'm going to do the 5. So 5 squared is 25 over 30. 5 over 15 plus 1/2. So let's see here. I am going to divide both of these. Let's see here. I want them to match up. So this over here, I'm going to just leave this as this because to get a common denominator over here, I'm going to have to make these into 30. So this is 15 over 15, and this is 2 over 2. So this is 10 30ths plus 15 30ths, which is 25 30ths. So yay! Not only was that checking, and then I know my answer's right, but also a great review of fractions and a great time to practice those because we could all use some extra work on fractions. So hopefully that helps you. So just like before when we've talked about some other ones, just because you look at something and go, oh, I don't like all those fractions. Remember, you're never tied to those fractions. You can always multiply by the least common denominator and get rid of those fractions. And often that can really help you jumpstart solving an equation because it cleans it up a lot. And in this case, it made factoring much easier. Could we have factored as is? Yeah, I guess, but it would have been pretty evil. So it's much better to clean it up before you start factoring.